Hey, well, look, it's Christy and Wine Snob. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm using a different mic. I'm actually going to go on my app real quick and see how it sounds to myself. Hold on. Go on the app real quick and see how it sounds to myself. Hold on. Actually, it sounds pretty good, doesn't it? These are my Beats by Dre studios, I think. And I've never really used the mic. What up, Melissa B? So, have things calmed down in the YouTube community? That is my question, because I have been MIA. As most of you know, I've moved, and I've been busy. Busy. So they haven't been bad. Well, hello, Kimmy. What's with the eyes? What's with the eyeballs? Cubby is going to make me a Christmas wreath. If anybody likes handmade items, which who doesn't, right? She makes the most creative, awesome crafts. And if you guys are interested in anything, man, she can do it. If you can find a picture on Pinterest of something that you like, dude, she can recreate it literally. I am getting settled in. I would say I only have maybe a couple boxes left, which is pretty crazy because I had like 20. Starlight, how are you? I didn't text you back. I have been so busy, but I did get your text. Hi, Will. Is Will here? I don't see Will. I am rocking it. Well, it's like I'm anxious to get everything where I want it so I can just relax. Oh, her dream catchers are awesome. I found a mobile for my granddaughter. I think it was on Pinterest or Etsy or something. I think it was Etsy. And it had like these cool feathers that hung from it. And I had my colors that I wanted. And dude, she went, I mean, it was better than the picture. Calm down. I think my brain is fried trying to keep up. That's a losing battle. I'm kind of out of the loop. I was hoping I could get filled in. So you can stress out for Christmas. This year, listen, Chrissy, this year I am not stressing out for Christmas. This year is going to be a simple Christmas in my life. The only thing that I'm really looking forward to is Sophia's first Christmas. Hey, Mojo. Yeah, I'm getting settled in. Yeah. So I was just kind of trying to pick y'all's brains to see if anything's calmed down a little bit. Well, Cheryl T, Auntie Cheryl. Yeah, I am going to actually help Cobb create a little Etsy store for her to showcase all her stuff because not having that is really kind of doing her a disservice. She's awesome. Melissa, don't stress about Christmas. Why stress? Because of money. See, that's over the years, I become such a Scrooge when it comes to Christmas because of money. And honestly, I'm tired of it. Get down, Bella. I get up and this dog takes my seat like immediately. It's Bella's world. We all just live in it. Okay, so I knew someone would fill me in, and excuse me. What up, Beth? And let's leave it to Starlight. She says it's calmed down in the sense no one is discussing the Oni bullshit, and I love her honesty and forwardness. Mandy has taken center stage with her victim status. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the Oni bullshit. As far as I'm concerned, it's, calm down with me too. There has been more that's come out since the last time I talked about it, and it's like, why even bother? Like, I'm not even going to try to debunk anything that he says anymore, because why fucking bother? It's not worth it, because he's just going to lie. He's just going to, keep perpetuating this victim status that he's done nothing wrong and blah, 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 blah. So, Oni needs to be outed for the snake that he is. Yeah, I mean, I tried. I mean, if there's anything I can do. Yeah, so is he going live on D Live, or is he back on YouTube? You're decorating for Christmas? Oh my God. It's not even Thanksgiving. Can we have this moment in between Thanksgiving or Halloween and Thanksgiving? Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Okay. Just let it go, Dal. Very wise decision. It's all for attention. The more we talk about it, the longer it goes on. Yes. Yes. And it's not that I condone anything. It's not that anything he said about me is true. It's just I can't keep dwelling on his mistakes and his, misfortunes. I can't do it. It's just too negative. Like, to make live after live after live about Oni. No, thank you. Let's see. Oh, sorry, your dog probably, yeah. Christmas is going to start in October and end in February. Yeah. And there's plenty you can do to out him. I would love to read those texts the way you guys read NK and CW texts. Oh my God, that would be really funny. Shit. We should do that. I really want to do that. Even though I just said I don't want to talk about it anymore. That sounds fun. You're going to get a little real tree. How cute. Yeah, I should show those. You know what, Starlight? Let's me and you read those one night. Do you want to? But Starlight, you have to be Oni, and then I'll be Jay. What the actual fuck? Yes. Exactly, Cheryl. I'm not going to let anybody do that anymore. Steal my joy. Which kind of brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk about besides, hey, what's up with the YouTube drama, right? Wait, Christy. She says, I have to go real. It's a special memory from childhood. There aren't many. Aw, Solo. Isn't that sad? I really thought that he was like a forever friend. Hey, Jason. Jason, did you catch me in DWAP last night? What's up, Kimberly? If you guys did not catch DWAP and I, mostly DWAP with all the info, he updated us all on the Patrick Frazee Kelsey Barrett case, and that is over on J is for Justice. So, yeah, so besides the YouTube draw, which, Marianne, if you're still here, we're setting up the text reading. You hear me? Yes, he was on a roll. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. I love DWAP too. How's Florida? Florida's good. It's good. I've just been getting settled. They haven't done a whole hell of a lot other than unpack and all that other garbage that goes along with, organizing and but it's been chilly and it's been cloudy, so I don't feel like I've missed anything. It was, Jason. I'm glad. I think I've really enjoyed that. We had a steady, like, I don't know, we had like a steady 380 people. Florida's cold, Kelsey says. It is. Okay, so which brings me to my little topic. Yeah, Melissa, it is cold here, but I gotta say, it's nothing like up north. Nothing like up north. I mean, it was 60 today, and we're like, brr, it's chilly. I think it got down to 58 right before it got dark. And the reason I say this is because I went to the beach and I looked at the temperature when I got in the car. So this is the sky, and this has been the sky since I've gotten here. But my granddaughter, she's good. She's good. Oh, you fell asleep on your way to Florida and woke up to snow. Oh. So it was pretty windy too. So I think it feels way cooler than 60 because of the wind. And I've noticed something down here is that it feels colder. Like 60 in Michigan feels a lot warmer than a 60 in Florida. And I don't know why that is. Do you think it's the humidity? What is it? Oh, Kelsey, only Yankees go to the beach right now. LOL, just kidding. No, you're so right. You're so right. So when I went to the beach, it was like, some couples walking up down the beach, and there was a few, tourists. You could tell they were from, I don't know, they were Asian. So like, you knew they were like, oh, this is great. It's funny because you say that. And snowbirds are all about it. Okay, so it is the humidity. I never really knew. You took some lovely photos at the pier at sunset. Nice. I love sunsets. Where at, Cheryl T? Okay, so yesterday when I went to the beach, there was these guys with these like parasailing, but not parasailing. I don't know what it was. I took a video. Let me see if I can airdrop it to myself. You guys tell me if you're seeing anybody doing this, but this is how windy. You guys windy was. You're going to be in Orlando in May. Are you going to? What are you doing in Orlando? Oh, the Panhandle, Cheryl. All right, let me see here. Just airdropped it. Where'd it go? I've never airdropped a video before. I don't know if it even worked. Oh, there it is. It worked. It worked. Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you this video. You guys tell me if you've ever seen this before. All right, let's see. Now I have to figure out how to play the damn thing. Here we go. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear the wind. Oh, you're going to Disney again? She rolls her eyes. I fucking hate Disney. I loved going with my kids, and don't get me wrong, the experience going with them was amazing. And my middle son, Ryan, he fell in love with Mickey Mouse like at such a young age. And he still loves Mickey Mouse. Like, to him, Disney is a happy place. To me, Disney is a stressful place. However, I do love seeing him enjoy it. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's like surfing and paragliding. So it brings me to what I wanted to talk about is finding like a way to calm yourself down in a moment of stress. Sophia will love it. And that's another thing. Like, I will love taking her and seeing her enjoy that, you know. That's what I will enjoy. I don't enjoy Disney. I don't enjoy how much money it costs. I think it's ridiculous. But when you see your kids or your grandkids or whoever just in complete awe, there's something to that. That's what I like. I can do without the lines and all the people and the $10 Mickey ear ice creams and you went by yourself with 2 kids. You're brave. You are brave. I would be exhausted. Like beyond exhausted. So anyway, like Ryan's happy place is Disney. You know, he thinks about Disney, and it gives him just good vibes to his body. Like, there's certain things you think about that make you happy. And when you think about that, like if it's something that really makes you happy, and you think about that thing, it kind of makes you forget about everything else, you know? So, for example, moving is very stressful and it takes its toll on you, and you can be on the verge of snapping, right? And I've been there, I've done it, and snapping. And I thought today, I'm like, what makes me feel good? When I feel like that, I think about the beach, because the beach is my happy place. I go there. It doesn't matter the temperature. It doesn't matter how windy it is. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Because for some reason, what you're looking at right now, right there, just, it just kind of, it takes the wind out of my stress sails, if that makes sense. There's just something calming. And I think it does that for a lot of people, but for a lot of people, it doesn't. Everybody has their thing. Hopefully you have at least one thing that gives you that feeling of relief and feeling of peace, just peace. And I don't know if it's just the never ending water, just looking at that horizon and knowing it just goes and goes and goes and goes. It's just, I don't know. Yes, sound of the waves, Janice. The whole thing. It's like this fresh air. It's like this fresh air is just being like forced into you. I agree, Cubby. Just looking at it, yes. Being there, it's like this whole sense of calmness like wraps around me. That's the best way I can describe it. And to have, I don't know, to have that place so close to me right now gives me a feeling of peace. And I need to focus on that. I need to stop focusing on the stressful things and focus on where I'm at, really, really thinking about where I'm at. And that puts me there. It puts me in reality. It brings me down. The beach is my calming place no matter what. Sitting and listening to the waves takes all my stress away. But damn if I'm not landlocked. I 100% feel you. Not seeing the ocean every day is a huge thing holding me back from moving away. Can't do Mickey whenever I want, lol. So I started thinking about all of this. I love it, Christy. Your yard is sand. I'm jealous. I want my yard to be sand. One day. So, if you've ever been in a spot where you've had a fight with your partner, or, maybe a confrontation at work or something, and I know how I get. My heart starts racing. I can't think straight. And I start saying things that I don't mean. Or maybe I say things that I do mean that I just haven't said. But they come out. And they don't come out the way they should, or in the appropriate timing, right? It's not the time. Hi, Rose. Oh, you're having an MRI tomorrow? Oh, Rose, I hope you get some relief. Really sorry to hear that. So, and you have these counselors who always say, okay, go talk to a friend when you're stressed out, or it's like it's not always that easy to always just go talk to a friend. But I feel like when I get in that mode where I feel like set off, that I need like immediate, like I need to get control of myself immediately. That's one thing that I don't know if it's turning 46 or what, but I need to get control of myself, the way I react. I'm a very reactive person. I've always been a reactive person. So when something happens, it's like, boom. And then I just say and do whatever, And then I calm down and then whatever. But I'm trying not to be such a reactive person. And really, I'm praying for you too, Rose. Rose, you're such a sweetheart. With everything that you go through, you have the kindest heart for other people. And I want you to know that it doesn't go unrecognized. That is something about you that has always really put me in awe. Because a lot of people go through stuff and they can't think of anything else other than what they're going through. And you manage, with all that you go through with your health, and you still manage to, put other people on the forefront. That's a good-hearted person. And Jamie, Texas Chick, says that her daughter makes her a reactive person. Maybe I can blame my kids too and be like, you know what? I'm reactive because of you three. No, I mean, seriously, some people are more reactive than others. Life Rewinded said, I learned if you write things down before reacting, or even text, but don't send, it kind of helps me. That's a good idea. If that's what it takes you to stop and think for a minute, but still be able to get the thought out and not send it, I think that's awesome. Christy says that she can relate so much. Her emotions go from 0 to 100 in 0.5 seconds. I know. Mine do too. And, when M came after me, I saw like how reactive she is. And I'm not reactive in front of an audience. I don't snap and freak out in front of people. But in my mind, if I'm, something's going on and, someone sets me off, most likely someone close to me, either my children or spouse or, sibling, those are usually the ones that I kind of, react quickly with. But when I saw M's and she was so reactive, but reactive in front of hundreds of people, I was like, what the fuck? If I'm even a fraction of this in my personal life, I need to check myself. Uh-oh, you have notebooks filled with unmailed letters? Ooh, I'd hate to freaking find have someone find those. I don't know if it's the age or what the hell it is. But it is. It's always the ones that you love most that you end up, saying things or doing things to that are not flattering to yourself. Like, I don't like that person I am when I'm reactive. So, trying to work on that. And in doing so, I did some research that I wanted to share with you guys. And you might not resonate with this, you might. So, in order to be happy, there's some things that you have to give up. And when I say giving up, I don't mean like you're weak. I mean, by giving up, I think that means you're strong enough and you're smart enough to let something go. Right? Does that make sense? I mean, there's tons of things that we could be going through, like, losing your home or losing a close friend who has betrayed you over and over and over. Death, losing loved ones, and reconfiguring your life after losing a loved one. Those are all brutal experiences. And, I'm talking about major things like that. And I'm talking about little things, little things like someone, making you angry and they say something and then you react back. And then, then it ensues a big argument, which is a waste of time. Especially when arguments go open-ended. Open-ended arguments drive me crazy. Because I feel like the longer you stay mad at someone is a waste of time. So what I have to learn is someone may be mad at me still, but I need to let it go. I can't stay mad at them. So, number one is choosing to do nothing, right? You don't get to choose how you're going to die. You don't get to choose when you're going to die. You only get to choose how you're going to live. So you have to look at it like every day is a new chance to choose. Like, you can choose to be negative. You can choose to be angry. You can choose to be mad. Or you can choose to flip that switch. And instead of thinking negative, think about the positives. Right? So instead of seeing the worst in everything or thinking of what could go wrong, think about what's gone right. Number two is excuses. You have to stop making excuses and realize that it's not what you lose along the way, it's what you still have, right? So, God, this has happened to me and that has happened to me. What was me type thinking. So you gotta think, and I'm talking to myself, like, you gotta think. When I say that, I'm convincing myself of this because I'm trying to adapt my way of thinking. Okay. So you gotta let go. And when you forgive, you gotta let go, move on. You can't change it. You can only change the future. Right? But in doing that, which is my third point, avoiding the reality of the present. If you can't confront the present, you can't find peace. You don't find peace by avoiding it. So a lot of us learn really hard lessons. Some of us go through worse things than others, right? Like, and I'm sorry I'm not reading chat because it takes me off track. I've noticed that. But you have to confront the present. So deal with what's going on. And a lot of us, like I was saying, we learn really hard lessons. We might have a failed relationship. We might have money issues or whatever the case may be that is stressing you out and making you angry or making you hold on to something. You got to look at them instead of mistakes. Look at it as a lesson that you learn from. And when you lose something, like, don't think of it as a loss. Think of it as maybe a different road you were meant to travel. I just feel like that's how you gain wisdom. So another thing was the overthinking and worrying about everything, which is 250% me. Like, I overthink everything. It's bad. I mean, my mind will just get lost in overthinking. So I think all your fears can have you like looking too deep into things in your life. And if you think and think and think, you'll think yourself right out of being happy. Because worrying doesn't change anything. And this is something I've told my kids. Worrying changes nothing. It doesn't change the outcome. It doesn't change anything. It just takes away your peace in that moment. And life is too short for that, you know? And these are things, trust me, I'm trying to keep reminding myself of. Another thing is about being who you once were in the past. So one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make is when to stay put and try harder, or when to just take memories and move on. And in doing that, sometimes you have to step out of the person that you've been. Remember the person you were meant to be and the person that you're capable of being and who you truly are. Like, it's taken me a long time to try to figure out who I truly am. Who am I? What makes me happy? What brings me peace? I've raised 3 children who are all grown now. And now it's like I'm reflecting back. Is this a midlife crisis? I don't think it's a midlife crisis. I think it's having the time to actually think. When you have 3 children, you don't have time to think. You're getting through each day, you know. You're in your routine. You're doing your thing. And all right, let me catch up on chat real quick. Yes, if YouTube ever got to the point where you're constantly worrying, you need to turn it off. You need to turn it off for sure. My dad always told me to replace 1 negative thought with 7 positives. Wow. That's really good advice. And it's probably hard to come up with 7 positive ones, isn't it? But it shouldn't be. Therapy hour with Jay. This is late night thoughts with Jay. It is the age, isn't it? 40s is transition time. Yep. It's weird. You move into another realm of who you are. And I've been in pretty deep thought lately, but I'm liking it. Sorry, I was reading something. Okay. So here is another point I wanted to make. Doubting your own faith and courage. So by taking a leap of faith, you can truly find out what you're capable of. But if you don't take that leap, you'll never know. You will never know. Like, so many people end up living in, dead end towns with dead end jobs, and they never see anything. They never see anything. I mean, I guess for some people they're happy. They're happy with that. They're content with that. And I'm not downing that. I mean, some people love the familiarity of the same thing. I'm the type of person, I want to see things, I want to travel. I just want to see things. I want to see new people. I want to see new places. I want to see things I've never seen before. I grew up in a little town where everybody knows everybody and everybody knows everybody's business. And it's the same restaurants and it's the same people and it's just the same. And there's something to be said for that, because when I go there, let's say I go back there to visit, it'll be still familiar. It'll still be the same, right? But I can't deal with that every single day. Like, to me, it's mundane, it's depressing, and I don't like it. And Chrissy, I know you love traveling. Yes, music. Oh my God, Starlight, music is my outlet. Oh, Jamie, wow. She lists 3 things every day that she's grateful for. She worried about everything, and then she got cancer. I was going to die of the stress, and then I had to get some perspective. How did you, I'm sure the cancer, which I hope everything is okay with you, that would be a huge eye-opener, wouldn't it? The stress is killing me. I've got to do something. I've been very blessed to see a lot of our country. I hope it continues that way. Travel as much as possible. Why do you have the eyes, Cheryl? I was really scared and depressed. I cried every day in the garage, so my family wouldn't see me crying. Yeah. And that must have felt really lonely. I'm sure you felt really lonely. I mean, if you can't share those feelings, that would be awful. Christy says, I feel so restless. I want to move, but the beach. Yep. So you have to think about, if you are unhappy, like where you live, think about what you have right there in your backyard. All right. So here's another point. Overlooking everything that's wonderful. And with this comes with being stuck in regret, right? I've heard so many people, okay? One of them being my ex-husband. Thinking about the life you think you should have had. I should have went to school. I should have done this. I wouldn't be having to do this manual labor if I had done this. I got screwed over in this job after 17 years, and And it's like, dude, that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Like, you lost that job 10 years ago and you're still sitting here talking about it. That is like the extreme of not moving forward. But like, my God, I mean, that's a long time to hold on to something. How can you ever be happy? How can you hold on to something like that and then appreciate what you have in your life right now? You can't. You can't. And then pessimism and negative self-talk. I think talking about our problems is probably one of our greatest addictions. We all love talking about our problems. A lot of people talk about them more than others. A lot of people say things to people they don't really know and shouldn't know these things. They tell them their problems. A lot of people like to burden people with their problems. Good night, Rose. I hope all goes well. Love you, Rose. Talk about your loves, your dreams, the things that make you happy. Because in the end, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it's not what you see, it's how you look at it. And it's not how your life is, it's how you live it. So no matter what you have, or what you don't have, focus on what you do have. Here's another one. Excessive pride. We sure see a lot of that on YouTube, don't we? So much judging of everyone and everything. Everything. How people look, how they talk, what they do, what their habits are. I mean, to the point where, we have people having the cops called on them out of judgment. Out of judgment. Of people you've never seen in person. I mean, that's just one example. This cop calling bullshit. It's still, because it just pisses me off. That whole situation pisses me off. No, I moved there solo. I moved here. And don't. Okay, so this is a huge one for me that I'm working on, that I have to work on, and I admit it. By no means, I haven't accomplished all of these things, but I'm recognizing them, and I think that's the first step. That's a good step. But pride is one of our greatest enemies, and it will take away your happiness. It will. If you're hating what you don't know, like your mind, it's like a parachute. It doesn't work when it's closed. You have to open your mind. Open your mind to other people. And it absolutely infuriates me when I'm with somebody and they see a person, and they start judging them on how they look or what they're wearing or, what they're driving or anything like that. It's like, you don't know. You don't even know this person. They could be driving that old car because they don't want a fucking car payment. More power to them, I say. But, this judging and all this bullshit pisses me off. It really does. And it kind of melts into the next point, not giving the people around you a chance. and I know you guys have heard this before, that people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And every person that comes into your life has something to offer. Even if it's someone who was in your life just for a short time, or maybe it was someone that was in your life for a long time and something happened and they're not in your life anymore. Learn from it. Learn from that experience. Here's another one on YouTube and in real life. Comparing yourself to everyone else. We have to learn to follow our own path and do our best and feel good about it. Right? That's the formula to happiness. Do your best and feel good about it. The unhappiness formula is comparing yourself to everybody else. And this is a huge one that goes along with insecurities, is letting the judgments of others control your life. And I think that this, especially for YouTube, people know your story, know your name, not your story. They may have heard things you've done, but don't know the things you've been through. So take their opinions with a grain of salt. In the end, it's not what others think, it's what you think about yourself. Sometimes you have to do exactly what is best for you in your life and not what's best for everyone else. And that doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you selfish at all. But sometimes you have to do you. Really, Willie? He was on the phone. What evs. But for real, you gotta do you. And you like that? People know your name, not your story. And I wish that people on YouTube would follow that, live that. Because I don't think we'd have as much drama and hate and all this bullshit. And then my last point is procrastinating and senselessly wasting time. Like we are the customers of a bank called time. And every morning you get a whole new day. And then every night it writes off as a loss whatever you failed to invest in good purposes. Each day you get a new account with the same deposit, 24 hours. And there's no going back, right? Once that day is gone, you just have to live in the present and invest in it. But if you stop doing the wrong things, that's when you give the right things a chance to start. So like what I've done is like taking one habit or thought pattern that makes me unhappy. And like I told you earlier, that's my reactiveness. And that's what it's like, one thing at a time, you know? And that's one thing that I want to change because I don't like the person I am when I'm reactive. I really don't. So that's what I've been thinking about. Pretty deep, huh? For unpacking thoughts. But I want to go back to my original point of the happy, putting yourself in the happy place when you feel like, you're stressed out, you're going to lose it, you're mad at somebody. This is the research that I did on this topic. And I'm going to share this with my kids, especially my son, Ryan, because he's a lot like me. He's super duper reactive. Plus he has PTSD. So it's like 1,000 times worse for him. And thinking of what his happy place is, I know I can say for certain it's, Disney World is one of his happy places. But also he's a musician. He's a performer. And maybe when he performs, that's another happy place for him. So I want to share this with him, especially because of the way I know he's like me. So here's the research that I found, all right? So there was some studies actually done on this. So there was 134 volunteers that felt stressed by being videoed while they plunged their hands into icy water. And then some spent 14 seconds reminiscing about a positive experience, like visiting Disneyland, while others reflected on an emotionally neutral event, such as getting your luggage ready for the trip. Which to me, that's not a neutral event. To me, that would be a stressful event. But afterwards, the group who recalled the happy memories felt better. But not only that, the expected rise in their levels of the stress hormone cortisol was only 15%, on average, of the surge observed in the neutral memory group. Thinking about happy memories then went right to the heart of the physiological stress response. So it actually raised their cortisol levels. The idea of thinking about positive past events, including achievements or successes, can help to improve ongoing mood, and resilience to stress is certainly not new, but showing that simply recalling happy memories can combat acute stress at a physical level is important, since there's plenty of research finding that people who tend to calm down physiologically soon after stressful events are generally healthier, both physically and psychologically, long term. Now, it does say here, though, that people with depression usually find it hard to recall positive memories. So this technique may not work well for them. And it's not clear yet whether any technique that makes you feel positive emotion would be effective, or if there's something special about reminiscing. But it is at least a simple method, and one that in theory many people could try. Now, I think it works. I do. I'm willing to give it a try, that's for sure. All right, let me see. Glera was on the phone with a listener of his. My dad used to say, just enjoy the ride. You already bought the ticket. Stephanie, I love when you stalk me. Let people live the way they want. If they are content, stop trying to expect them to do what would make you happy. As much as Disney makes me super excited and happy, it's a temporary high for a day or two. Things that bring internal peace are much more lasting. Agreed. Agreed. Aw, thanks, Cheryl. Auntie Cheryl. How long have I been yapping? An hour? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about this because I've been giving it a lot of thought. Mm. Sadly, I think many on YouTube are miserable and want to make everyone else miserable as well. Well, isn't it? Isn't that kind of how it goes, Cheryl? Miserable people, misery loves company. I literally write my 3 things first in the morning and recognize it puts me in a better mood. How long does one just sit back and take it before they end up reacting? That's my downfall. I can only take so much. I think that's what everybody has their limits, right? Everybody has their limits on what they can take and how long they can take it. When I say I'm reactive, Marianne, it's like I'm reactive in the moment. I think that if something, is reoccurring, like we've dealt with, I know, the things we've dealt with, is, on YouTube or whatever. And I know, you can only sit back and take so much. I've been there. But I'm talking like the way you initially react to something, you in particular, but people, the way they initially react instead of thinking before you respond. Someone says something you don't like, taking a step back. Yes, Christy, for sure. And I think that you have to be happy with yourself. I'm a Scorpio too, Jamie. I know we talked about that. I forgot my gratitude list. I'm a Scorpio. So I have a temper and I speak my mind, but I've been learning to pause and not do the big freak out. Forgiveness is very powerful. Even if you forgive someone and they don't, you're happier because you let it go. For sure. Aw, thanks, Cobb. This is late for you, Cobb. Good night. Love you. Yes, forgiveness is very powerful. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what the person did to you is okay. It means you're letting it go. It means you're letting it go. So forgiveness doesn't make you weak. But if you can be face to face with someone that you've had an argument with, and one of you can apologize and the other person can apologize, it's amazing. But I think it is important to remember that not everybody else is going to reciprocate, and it still is good for your soul to forgive, even if you're not getting it from the other side. And there's other things, that we can forgive even though we don't expect anything from the other side. So, like, for example, I know I've talked about my girlfriend who was killed by a drunk driver. And it wasn't just her, it was her and 4 children. And, they talk about forgiving the driver, to find peace. And I've talked to her sister about this at length. And of course, her sister is not there. She's not remotely close to forgiving him. I'm not even remotely close to I can't say that. I do have my, torn feelings on it. One hand, he took away someone who was like a best friend and her children. But then on the other hand, He was a 23-year-old kid. And he made a mistake. That mistake cost him the rest of his life in prison. And it cost my friend and her children their lives. But he could have very well have made that mistake to drink and drive and not killed anybody. So I look at that. I look at both sides, and it's been really hard. And I actually reached out to him and told him that I wanted to write him. And I asked, I had to get, actually, because he's in Ohio, I had to get permission. Like, I had to apply, and then he had to allow it. And I wrote him, and we were on the JPay app. There's an app where you can write to these people. It wasn't like snail mail. So I wrote him and told him who I was and told him who Bethany was to me, and said that, I was interested in talking with him, because he has since gone on and made videos advocating, for drinking and driving and things like that. So I said, I want to talk to you. And I just wanted to tell him how his mistake affected me and affected others that I've talked to that have not reached out to him, that may never reach out to him. And not to punish him, but just for my own peace of mind, like, let him know your actions affected me, her family, in the following ways. I don't know if it would help him. I'm not looking to help him, but to tell him, and I don't know, who am I to him? I'm not her sister. I'm not her mother. I'm a friend. But to tell him, I think that she would forgive you. I think that she would forgive you. And because of that, I forgive you. So I never got it out, though. He wrote me back, and he wrote me something weird. I don't even remember what it was now, but I never got to get that out to him. And I have never deleted that JPay app, because I still want to go back to it. I just haven't gone back to it yet. But I will. I'm just not ready, I guess. So, if I forgive him, that helps me. That helps me. Instead of hanging on to this, he's an asshole. What a dick. And I just don't feel like my friend would do that. I don't feel like she would be like that. I feel like she was a realist like me. She knows that people make mistakes. She knows that she's probably, driven after drinking at one point in time. So to pass this judgment, yes, his outcome was horrible, awful. That was my good friend. But I can still sit here and say, I don't think that guy, that 23-year-old kid, got in the vehicle and turned it on and said, I'm going to go wipe out a family tonight. Good night, Chrissy. So one day I would like to tell him that I do forgive him. But, saying that I want to do it, but then when I think about actually writing that to him, it's hard. I feel like, I don't know if I can say that to him. So I'm not there yet. But I hope to get there. I'm not as angry. I'm not angry with him like I was. It's just so senseless, Jamie says, Jamie a beta. Personally, I have had to forgive people in my life, and it's definitely very, very hard. It's like a huge weight off. I had to practice radical acceptable because some of the stuff was so bad. What's radical acceptable? I don't know what that is. But it is a weight off when you can forgive someone. No one wants to be in turmoil all the time. Oh, acceptance. I know I hate being in turmoil with people. I do. But anyway, I'm going to end this live here. And tomorrow we wake up. It's a new day. We have a whole new chance to kind of change our way of thinking, or at least catch ourselves when we start thinking negative, or, going down a path that's not going to be productive for us. So hopefully tomorrow I will be able to go live on J is for Justice. Sorry. God, I can't kick this cough. I've had it for like a month. But tomorrow is the Patrick Frazee closing arguments. So hopefully I'll be hopping on J is for Justice and updating you guys. Christy, I have someone to forgive. They aren't sorry. I've tried over and over for decades. I don't know how to make myself feel what I want to feel. Yeah, it's something that you have to come to terms with within yourself. Aw, thanks, guys. Am I going right to bed? I don't know. I'm going to lay down probably. Night, Casey. Good night, guys. And we will talk tomorrow on either one channel or the other. Love you guys.